another episode of Heart Healthy Recipes. Today we're going to talk about mashed potatoes. That is something I usually have at least once a week, but I'm talking to you today about healthy mashed potatoes. I know you're probably wondering, what do you mean? Like, I'm talking about with all the butter and the sour cream, you know, all those things that add extra fat to the foods that we eat. And when we're trying to eat a heart healthy diet, we want to make sure that we're eating as less fat as possible, but with much flavor as possible. And so that's what I'm going to show you a technique that I like to use to make mashed potatoes taste really nice. And also you'll find that you can use in a lot of other dishes. So we're going to put together the base for our mashed potatoes, but I wanted to go over some of the ingredients, which are really simple. We have some garlic here, and depending on how much garlic you want, you know, sometimes I'll use 3 or 4 cloves. If you want like a roasted garlic mashed potatoes, then you would want to use more garlic. We have our onions, which we already have sliced up. This is like 1 whole onion sliced. We have our vegetable broth. You don't have to do veggie broth. You can do chicken, you do beef, however, but I prefer vegetable broth. And then we have our milk. This is a plant-based soy milk. And if you want to top it with like chives, we have some chives, and we have our salt and pepper. Very simple. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take our onion, and we're going to put it in this pan right here. And we're going to get all of that out, and you just spread it out. And then we're going to take our garlic. I'm going to use, because I love garlic, I'm going to use about 5 cloves. You know, you can use more or less. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your vegetable broth and you're going to pour it into your pan, and you're going to pour it just so the onions and the garlic are covered up, okay? And so what's going to happen is this is going to actually cook down, and it's going to make like the onions are going to get caramelized, okay? And so it's going to give us that umami flavor, and it's going to give us that mouthfeel when we mix it in the mashed potatoes of the butter. So you're not going to miss it. And we're also going to, you know, add in the milk and all of that as we prepare the mashed potatoes. So you're going to put this in the oven. I usually put on about 450 for about, I said 45 minutes to an hour. Normally what I like to do is when I'm cooking my potatoes, this is already in the oven. So let's go and put this in the oven now. So I have some potatoes here that I've steamed, and I find that when you steam their potatoes, it retains a lot of its nutrients. You know, like I said before, mashed potatoes or white potatoes have vitamin C, vitamin K. They have a lot of potassium, especially in the skin. So we want to be able to retain as much of those nutrients as possible. And so steaming the potatoes, I have 6 potatoes in here, small potatoes, and I steam them for about 20 minutes. And so I'm going to use them in our recipe today. Okay, so now we have our caramelized garlic and onion here in the pan. And like I told you, you can also do this on the stovetop, shorter time, but I feel like you get more umami flavor when you actually do it in the oven. So we're going to take these and we're going to blend this mixture together, our flavor base, I'll call it. So we're going to take this and kind of scoop this out and put it in this blender here. It smells so good. Put this out here. And if you have some onions that are kind of sticking to the pan, you can also pour like a little bit of the vegetable broth to kind of pour in there and kind of just loosen things up, because you want to make sure that you're getting all that flavor. Okay. All right, and so next I'm going to get some milk, the container. And you basically base the amount of milk that you're going to use based on the amount of mashed potatoes you have. So I'm doing about a cup of milk right here. Going to try to shake off the rest of those onions that's on here. And then we're going to blend this. Okay, so I've blended this, and so we're going to make sure that it's just nice and smooth. You don't want any bits or anything in it, so it should kind of just look like this. Very nice and smooth mixture, okay? So we're going to take this and we are going to pour this into our potatoes, and I already have mashed these potatoes. And we're just gonna kind of just mix it. I like my mashed potatoes kind of chunky. Everybody doesn't, but I kind of like them to have just a little chunk to them, not too smooth, but it's up to you. So we're just gonna mix this really good. That smells so good right now. And make sure all of that flavor base is incorporated. Sometimes if I, depending on who I'm making this for, if I'm having company, sometimes I will put it in the blender and blend the potatoes with the flavor base. But we're going for chunky today. And so I'm going to add just a little bit of pepper. And you can do black pepper or cayenne pepper, whatever your preference, and a little bit of salt. Okay. And you're just going to do it to taste. Mix it really good. Okay. And then I like to just garnish it with a little bit of chive. Or you can do parsley. Okay. Actually, I like a lot of chive. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Now let's do a taste test. You know, I always have to do a taste test. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit of this and we're gonna do a taste test. So good. The garlic comes through. The flavor is a rich flavor because of the umami and just the roasting of the garlic and the onions. And it's like you don't really need anything else. It's just full of flavor. You gotta try this. Very good.